Well, for more on how Americans are feeling about the economy, I'm joined by business and economics expert Lynn Franco. Franco is director of the Economic Indicators and Surveys for the Conference Board. Welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
Now, let's break some of this down, starting with home sales. They shot up in March, the fastest growth in 8 months. Why are we seeing this?
Well, we're pretty much seeing we've got a tight inventory, high demand, we've got prices accelerating, but we do expect a little bit of the cooling in the housing market in the coming months as mortgage rates, while they're dipping now, we expect rate hikes to push them up a little bit. And so probably we're not going to continue at this pace, but still a healthy pace in the months to come.
So why do you think Americans are so confident, though, at this point about investing in a new home?
Well, it's a good investment. It's still part of the American dream. And for most Americans, it's probably a safer bet than investing in the stock market.
Well, one thing that we're seeing consumer confidence doing is slipping as of April, but remains still at near historic highs. Why did we see that slip in April?
Well, consumer confidence tends to be volatile, and I think I'd put it sort of in the context that we've been above 100 now since August, since the summer months. So we still have a very relatively confident consumer, even though we've had a little bit of a decline in the overall index.
So as we look specifically, what is it that Americans are confident about when it comes to the economy?
Well, the key to consumer confidence has always been jobs, jobs, and jobs. And I think we're still very confident about the labor market, despite the latest readings in terms of employment growth. But I think even looking ahead, even though we've had a little bit of a cooling, consumers continue to expect the economy to continue growing and also job growth to continue as well.
And as people gather around the kitchen table, what's really giving them cause to pause?
I don't think there's really much to pause now. I mean, we might have had a little sort of pullback from the post-Trump bump that we've seen, but overall expectations remain quite favorable and confidence readings are still near 17-year highs.
And speaking of the Trump bump, stock markets continue to do well. But how does that correlate to the consumer confidence numbers that we saw?
Well, that's definitely going to help boost confidence, especially amongst the upper income consumers. That's where most of the investment tends to be, reside. So those consumers are going to continue to see their portfolios benefit. And I think that's going to continue to boost their confidence and may in turn help boost spending as well.
And what sort of difference are you seeing then with low income consumers?
They're a little bit more cautious. More of their wealth is tied into wage gains. And while we've seen some increment in wages, we've also seen a little bit of a rise in inflation, which tends to counterbalance that. But from where we are today to where we were a year or 2 years ago, we've seen confidence pretty much improve across all aspects.
And we've certainly seen consumer spirits up significantly since Trump's election. But how much of that is due to the new president versus other factors at play?
Well, we'd seen this upward trend since the summer. So we had, broken past 100, which is a relatively strong reading, and we've been able to maintain that. And yes, there was sort of this post-election bump. But overall, I think we've sort of been on this upward trajectory, and a lot of it's been driven by employment growth, and that's going to continue to be the driver of confidence going forward.
And a lot of it is also optimism about some of the policies that Trump might enact. Obviously, we're still waiting for a bit more meat on the bones. Do you expect that optimism to last?
It all depends. We need that optimism to translate into results. And if not, then I think we could see a little bit of a pullback in terms of consumers' expectations. But for right now, they remain very confident and I think very optimistic that the current administration is going to follow through.
And how surprised are you about the reaction that you've seen, this confidence that you're seeing since Donald Trump's election?
Well, we expected a little bit of a post-bump. I mean, tax cuts always resonate very well with consumers and job growth as well. And again, we've seen some of this already underway. So it's really not a surprise. So I think, in fact, it's pretty good news, and hopefully it continues going forward.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll have to leave it there. Lynn Franco, Director of Economic Indicators and Surveys for the Conference Board.